Thank you so much.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Determine the quorum is present. I'm present, Jeff Perry is present, Matt Jones is absent. Aaron Allen is present, Randy Jones is present, Chuck Fox is present. Jeff, you get this invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together as a city. We ask that you bless this meeting and help us to make sure that all the things that we say and all the things that we do would be in your will. Help us to be good stewards of the folks that work here and the finances and all the things that go together with that. Father, today I ask that you wrap your arms around our first responders, be with them and let them know that you're there and just comfort them and help them deal with everything that they deal with. We just thank you and praise you for all your blessings in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Community announcements. Items of community interest may include recognizing citizens and staff for outstanding contributions to the community. A reminder about an upcoming event organized or sponsored by the governing body. Announcements of an imminent threat to public safety that has risen after the posting of this agenda. We got a external. You got any announcements? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We do have a Music in the Park that's supposed to be this Saturday. It is pending a little bit on the weather. We watched it earlier and it looks like it's gonna come in late. However, we do have a rescheduled date if it does not work out for this Saturday. So we'll be posting that tomorrow morning. But it should be fun. We've got local guys, Ryan and Shane coming in, food trucks, bounce houses, all the usual fun, face painting. Thank you, thank you.
Mayor and council, on Saturday, April 27th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Aubrey Police Department will participate in the National Pharmaceutical Take Back Initiative. So anyone that has any over-the-counter or prescription medication that is expired, they need to get rid of for any reason. We're not taking any needles at this time, but any drugs we'll take, it'll occur at the police department during that time. So just bring them by, drop them off, and we'll take care of the destruction.
And we have a proclamation for Mental Health Month. Whereas addressing the complex mental health needs of children, youth, and families today is fundamental to the future of the city of Aubrey, and the citizens of the city of Aubrey value their overall health and that of their families and fellow citizens, and are proud to support observances such as Mental Health Month and Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. And 1 in 5 adults has a diagnosable mental health condition. And half of Denton County parents are not familiar with mental health services in their community, and the need for comprehensive, coordinated mental health services for individuals and families placed upon our community is a critical responsibility. And there is a strong body of research that supports specific tools that all Americans can use to better handle challenges and protect their overall health and well-being. And each citizen, local business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, and faith-based organization shares the burden of mental health concerns and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness, recovery, and support prevention efforts. The Denton County Behavioral Health Leadership Team, Denton County MHMR Center, the United Way of Denton County, and the Wellness Alliance for Total Children's Health of Denton County, led by Cook Children, through their unique partnership and prevention-based approaches to serving children and adolescents, are effectively addressing the mental health needs of children, youth, and families in our community. And it is appropriate that a month should be set apart each year for the direction of our thoughts towards mental health education and the support of treatment and recovery. And it's appropriate that a day should be set apart each year for the direction of our thoughts towards our children's mental health and well-being. And therefore be it resolved that I, Chris Rich, Mayor of the City of Aubrey, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Mental Health Month and May 9th, 2024 as Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. And I call upon our citizens and all agencies and organizations interested in meeting every person's mental health needs to unite this month in observance of such exercises, as well commit the people of Aubrey to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. This 25th day of action.
All right, citizens input. Any person may address the city council. If your comments are concerning an agenda item, you may wait till the discussion on that item if you prefer. Once recognized by the mayor, please step forward to the speaker's podium, state your name and address, and speak directly into the microphone so people in the room and those attending remotely can hear comments and see presentations. No discussion or action may be taken at this meeting on any item not listed on the agenda, other than to make statements of factual information, to reside existing policy, in response to a citizen's inquiry. Glenda?
I'm back. My name is Glenda Whitson. I live at 308 North Main Street. 3 years ago, I attended several council meetings to address the water at 202 East North Street. Nothing's changed, not one thing. I have a engineer study. It says Leigh Ann said it cost about $50,000. It's worthless if you don't put some action to it, and you're wasting $50,000. Okay. Now, the water, yes, it has come back across the road. All of the ground is saturated. I still have my landscape timbers up there, but they are rotted. I purchased again 45 sandbags, put them down myself to take care of a city's mistake. And I would love to meet with any one of you, all of you, to show you the mistake the city has made to put the water in my house. And it's not fair at all. And it's time. You have purchased cars, you have purchased land, you've purchased a new building, y'all got money to buy what y'all need. But you still got a need right up there on on North Street that needs to be fixed. And I met with, I don't know, everybody, Sherman, that's the only one I remember. I showed him. You put a double culvert in, but you turn around and fill the ditch up where the double culvert is at. So the water can't flow. Come on, guys. There's a hump in the road. Water doesn't run uphill, it runs downhill. You got a culvert over here that's got rock, but that's after it passes my house. And it is time. I've had it. I have a tractor and I know how to clean out a ditch. And I've got the equipment to do it. But when I do, it's going to affect your road. But ask me if I care. Y'all don't. You haven't showed that you care because you haven't done nothing. I want back on the agenda and we need to address this. Let's don't let your $50,000 go to waste. Okay. Number 7, as far as the side-by-side four-wheelers, I have a side-by-side. I have a long ways to walk to the barn. I can't walk. I can't carry everything. I can't walk. My equipment is down in the barn. I use my side by side. It's not for pleasure. It's for work. And I guess I do ride around the block to cool off, or if I haven't rode it, keep the battery charged up. So whatever y'all are gonna do about the side by sides, I need mine, not for pleasure, but for work.
And your time, so.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Are you going to?
Did someone say something? Oh,
I said thank you.
oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Alan Holland.
I can wait till it's brought up.
Okay. All right, consent items. Items placed on the consent agenda are considered routine in nature and non-controversial. The consent agenda can be acted upon in one motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of council, board members, or staff.
Move to approve consent. Second.
Motion by Chuck, second by Jeff. All in favor? Passes 4-0. All right, new business. We're gonna go in a little bit different order. I'm gonna start with number 5.
Mayor, council, good evening. Item 5 is a resolution that will set the public hearing for May regulars council meeting for the Duck Point Public Improvement District.
Do I need to read it first?
I'm sorry.
Number 5, consideration and action on a resolution setting a public hearing for the creation of the Duck Point Public Improvement District within the ETJ of the city of Auburn, Texas, on approximately 160 acres of land situated in the Frederick H. Pollard Survey, abstract number 995, Denton County, Texas.
Got ahead of myself. Mayor, council, thank you for being here tonight. This resolution will set the public hearing for the May regular council meeting for the Duck Point Public Improvement District. This is the first action of several that will establish the Duck Point development. For the May meeting, you will also be considering the development agreement that is being worked as we speak. There is a representative here tonight from Duck Point if you have questions.
The request of public.
May 23rd. May 23rd, regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 957-24, setting a public hearing for the creation of the Duck Point Public Improvement District at our regular May meeting on May 23rd.
I'll second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Randy, all in favor? Passes 4-0. We'll go back to number 2. Consideration action on a preliminary plat for the Trivedi addition.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So the preliminary plat for the Trivedi addition, it's the next phase in development for the property. At your March meeting, you all approved the annexation and zoning for this piece of property. It's proposed as 2 lots at the northeast corner of Spring Hill and McNatt. And it has a general retail lot that's just under 3 acres, as well as a government use lot of approximately 19 acres. And that will accommodate, the plat will also accommodate for right-of-way dedication and some development easements necessary for utilities. The government use lot will also have a city park as well as house the fraternity pump station and other government uses that we don't know at this time. The plat falls within 2 sheets. This is the northern portion of the property. And this is the southern part of the preliminary plat. As I mentioned earlier, it's 2 lots. The general retail is lot number 1, lot number 2 is the government uses tract. Utilities will be provided by the city of Aubrey. The city engineer has reviewed the preliminary utility plans and the plat, and feels that at this time, the comments are very minor and to go forward with development, and things can be worked out by the time of final plat. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this plat at their last meeting and recommended it unanimously with the above noted conditions. Approval of the engineering plans to be resolved prior to the final plat stage in the engineering design. Sheet 3 shall be retitled Trivedi Edition. Sheet 2 notes shall match sheet 1, and there is a deed overlap on the northern portion of the property that needs to be worked out prior to the final plat being filed. Additionally, you all have requirements for tax certificates, filing fees, and copies as well that would need to be fulfilled to file the plat. So this evening, you may approve the preliminary plat, approve it with conditions, or deny the plat. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. And the applicant and owner are here this evening too, if you should have some questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for the Trivedi addition for 2 lots and 25.159 acres of land, subject to the conditions outlined above.
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Jeff on the vote. Passes 4-0. Number 3, consideration action on a final plat for Ribbonwood Phase 1.
All right, this is the final plat for just phase 1 of Ribbonwood, and you all entered into an ETJ development agreement back in 2022. A preliminary plat was also approved back in 22. The final plat you see is consistent with the development agreement as well as the preliminary plat. The phase 1 consists of 213 residential lots, and they have a breakout that matches with what's in the ETJ development agreement for the number of lots based on size and percentages. I put the concept plan from the ETJ development agreement in the slide presentation so that you can see and understand this first phase. The portion that is the western portion provides for a park area to be owned and maintained by the HOA. Phase 2 will come later. The plat falls within 4 different plat sheets. We'll go through those quickly. The water and sewer being provided by Mustang Special Utility District. The city engineer has reviewed and approved the civil construction plans. The final plat was reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission and unanimously recommended for approval, subject to the conditions that you see up there. HOA documents shall be submitted and approved by the city attorney and filed in conjunction with the final plat. Landscape screening, retaining walls, and irrigation plans still need to be submitted and reviewed. And there is a new condition. We've been working with the project engineer that the sidewalks around that park and HOA lot, those need to be 5 feet in width. So they're working on making those changes. And then once again, other requirements for filing, like an executed plat, tax certificates, filing fees, and those items to be able to process the plat at the county. As I mentioned earlier, the P&Z did unanimously approve this item, and you may approve the final plat, approve it with conditions, or deny the final plat. The applicant is here this evening, as well as our city engineer, if you should have any questions regarding the project or engineering plans.
Said we're changing the 5-foot sidewalks. What were they before?
For
Okay.
the development agreement spelled out adjacent to open space, private open space areas, that those needed to be 5 feet.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat for Ribbonwood Phase 1 for 213 residential lots, 4 open space lots, and 43.864 acres of land within the extraterritorial jurisdiction, subject to the 3 conditions.
I'll second. Motion by Aaron, second by Randy, all in favor? Passes 4-0. Item 4, conduct a second public hearing on the proposed annexation of a certain 1.078 acre tract of land, being a part of the existing 60-foot right of way of the Redfern Road, a new variable width right of way on the east side of US Highway 377. Public hearing start time is 6:20.
Mayor, I did my best not to get ahead of you this time. This item is the annexation of Redford Road that was not completed at the time of the dedication of the right of way several years ago. This action, if approved, will bring the roadway into the city limits. You had a public hearing a week ago in this special meeting, and this is that second public hearing. We have a map, I believe. if anybody needs to see.
Questions? Any input from anyone here? So it's a public hearing. Anyone on Zoom? We'll close the public hearing at 6:21. Take an action on this or?
Yes, sir, this is for approval. You have an ordinance. Yes. That's May. This is your second public hearing. It'll be, you'll have it for approval in May.
Okay, you're here, so we'll go back to item number 1. Consideration action on a final plat, High Point Ranch Phase 1C.
Good evening. I apologize for my tardiness. Traffic was something else today. So we have a map of the location of the High Point Ranch Phase 1C this evening. As a reminder, it is a planned single-family development with some commercial along US 133. Portions have been annexed. The entire subdivision is now annexed within the city. This is the phasing plan, and the area highlighted in yellow is the Phase 1C that you are considering this evening. And this is a zoning map. The entire area is planned development district and follows the uses and standards in that development agreement. The residential lots that are in the preliminary plat are SF5 lots, and they meet the minimum standards. And those standards are listed here, but they comply with the development agreement. So the preliminary plat for the entire 460.75 acres was approved in March of 2022. The application was deemed substantially complete March 20 of 2024. Although it's a planned development with a MUD, the city will be responsible for the future maintenance and upkeep of the streets, drainage, water, and sewer. Coordination has taken place with the utilities. And this particular plat encompasses 32.472 acres, creates 13 residential lots and 3 HOA lots. The engineering plans have been reviewed and approved. This is a snip of the preliminary plat, and you'll notice that a lot of this is roadway and drainage easements. And then we also have just these 13 lots right here. An amenity lot. There are a lot of recorded instrument numbers that are missing from this final plat, and signatures are also missing. So possible actions for city council is to approve the plat, approve it with conditions, or deny it. Staff recommends conditional approval of the plat pending the inclusion of the recorded instrument numbers and the signatures. And the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this and unanimously voted to recommend conditional approval for staff recommendations. I will try to answer any questions if you have any. Yeah, I can see the applicant, so I'll do the best I can to answer questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat of High Point Ranch Phase 1C, being 32.472 acres with the conditions that were mentioned before.
Also, okay.
Motion by Randy, second by Chuck, all in favor? Passes 4-0. Number 6. Consideration on action ordinance numbers 840-24 and 849-24, amending and adopting the new divisions within Article 3.03, technical and construction codes and standards of Chapter 3, building regulations of the Code of Ordinances to adopt the 2023 National Electric Code with local amendments and to adopt the 2021 editions of the local amendments to the following international code: International Building Code, International Existing Building Code, International Energy Conservation Code, International Fuel Gas Code, International Mechanical Code, International Plumbing Code, International Fire Code, International Residential Code, and International Swimming Pool and Spa Code.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Thank you, Mayor, for reading all those. So the city of Aubrey currently requires construction under the 2018 International Code Series, including Fire Code and the 2021 National Electrical Code. The amending ordinances that we have tonight is for the 2021 International Code Series and the 2023 National Electrical Code. The codes are adopted together as a series since the codes are fully compatible and they also cross-reference each other. The purpose of the code series is to provide an international model and also a consistency across regions. The main purpose of updating the code is to maintain the up-to-date code and to address design, installation, building systems, emphasizing on performance and safety. In addition to updating the codes, it's important factor in securing a high rating with the Insurance Service Organization. Updated codes are necessary to maintain a high rating. And some of the significant changes, there is a lot. So in your staff report, you have a lot of major ones, and then I was just going to read a couple and then answer any questions that I can if you have any. So one of the changes added a section for the intermodule shipping containers that are repurposed for use as a building or a structure. Modified language to measure the maximum height of the bottom of the opening for window fall protection to the bottom of the window sill instead of to the bottom of the window opening instead of the sill. Added requirement for location of smoke alarms where there's a change in elevation in ceiling heights of 24 inches or more outside bedrooms. And it now technically allows a 1 to 2 hour rated horizontal assembly, a ceiling of horizontal exit passageway. It will now require an individual tenant to have a water shutoff valve. It will now allow a food waste disposer to tie into a combination waste and vent system. It will now require mechanical ventilation for all dwelling units, no matter how many stories. It will now require construction fencing around the new pool location from when the hole is excavated for the new pool until a permanent pool barrier is installed and inspected. So staff held public meetings with local contractors and developers in March to discuss these new codes and answer questions. And staff is recommending approval of the new codes.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinances number 840-24 to 849-24, amending and adopting new divisions within Article 3.03 of Chapter 3 of the Code of Ordinances to adopt the 2023 National Electric Code with local amendments and to adopt the 2021 editions of and local amendments to the international codes listed in our packet.
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Jeff, all in favor? Passes 4-0.
If anybody hadn't turned their phone off, you might want to do that.
Item number 7, consideration and action on awarding a bid and entering into a contract with ALCC LLC for park improvements at Leslie Park Field for an amount not to exceed $669,263.71 and authorizing the city manager to execute necessary documents.
Mayor, council, the park improvements were designed by Westwood Professional Services Incorporated. The improvements consist of the addition of a full basketball court, 3 pickleball courts, a sidewalk, a pedestrian bridge, spectator player benches, irrigation and landscape improvements. This project goes towards meeting the goals and objectives of our Parks Master Plan and was a recommended project by the Parks Board to be funded with the Park Improvement Funds in the 23-24 budget. The project was advertised for bid on March 22nd, 2024 and March 29th, 24 in the Post Signal, and was also available for download at the CivCast website. Bids were due on April 11th. There was 9 bidders. The bids range from the $669,263.71 up to $1,146,000. 3 bids contain math errors or differences from bid instructions. So the remaining bidders were evaluated for similar successful project history and references were verified. ALCC LLC was the low bidder and received favorable references on quality construction, keeping project schedules and completing work within budget. Westwood Professional Services Incorporated has provided a letter of recommendation to award the bid to ALCC LLC. And park improvements were approved in the 23-24 budget and funds are available. The stated budget proportion for this Leslie Field project was $550,000. So this bid did come in over what we had budgeted, but we had also budgeted for some other improvements. So if the other ones come in above or at budget, we may require a budget amendment. But if not, then we'll have the funds in this current budget. And staff recommends approval. And I can answer any questions if you have any.
Al, wanna speak on this one?
Can I speak? Yeah, that's fine.
Alan Holland, A17 Ridgecrest Court, actually just 2 blocks, in fact, from the library. The reason I'm here is, I've coached, now this is my 3rd year, Aubrey Area Youth Sports Association, the soccer. I've got 2 assistant coaches. There's 17 other coaches that coach soccer in Aubrey and around Aubrey. We currently do not have a field to practice on. We have 2 options in the city of Aubrey. First one is at Winridge. It's down in a floodplain. Second one is at Leslie Park. It's in a floodplain. The soil there is clay. It is not conducive as soon as it doesn't rain for 2 weeks to practicing on. The Winridge location last season, one of the coaches that was over there had 2 kids roll their ankles in that field. Got injured, they decided that was not playable anymore. I'm in a group text with 17 other coaches representing 205 kids in the Aubrey Area Youth Sports Association that have nowhere to practice at. What I'm wanting from y'all is to redirect our resources from Leslie Park and the pickleball courts that we're gonna build, for which we have 0 teams, over to the children, including my 3 kids that play in this, so we have somewhere to play and to practice.
Are you talking about,
Here,
are you talking about putting it right there where we're talking about?
we play in that field best we can. If y'all have been down there, the cracks are 2 inches wide in the bottom of that field.
Mhm.
And it's full of clover right now.
That's where I was gonna go with it, because your soccer field is gonna have cracks all in it too, just like the baseball field does.
which is fine. If you add a little bit of sand to it. Make it a little bit nice, not saying super fancy, not $600,000 fancy. Saying somewhat nice. I think we can find a middle ground here. We don't have any teams for pickleball. We do have kids and teams that need to go play in our high school and are pursuing it right now. In fact, one of my assistant coaches, his kid is 12. His goal right now is to play high school soccer. His dad helps me coach. They're coaching right now. I came over here and skipped practice so I can voice my opinion. And hopefully persuade y'all. I like sports. I like pickleball. I tore my ACL and my meniscus back in August playing pickleball. Hey. I like it. It's a good sport. We don't have any teams for that. We do have basketball teams that practice here in Aubrey and play. We have plenty of churches, New Hope, indoor facilities, Upwards basketball. They can play, they can practice indoors. Soccer, we don't have that option. The nearest field that we can go play in is either in Denton or over in Frisco and Little Elm. We don't have a spot here in Aubrey. So if I may, I would ask that y'all consider this.
I will say we have, soccer fields are on the list of things to do. We had a whole year of public hearings for the park master plan that we conducted at the library. We invited everybody to come participate in and voice what they wanted to see. And then the Parks and Rec Board has met numerous times since we concluded that and come up with a plan on how to carry out that vision that the public said that they wanted. And this is part of that step to carry that out. I encourage you to participate in future planning Parks and Recreation meetings.
And a lot of the problem that we have is we're kind of stuck with what we got. I mean, if you know any ranchers that would like to donate some parkland to us, that'd be great. But everybody's selling to developers instead of the city. You know what I mean? So we're real limited on what space that we've got for soccer fields and football fields and baseball fields and all that stuff too.
Okay, what I'm saying though is, we've got money right now. Surely we have some land somewhere right now.
Where?
I don't know. Y'all are talking
That's,
about,
that's the problem. And everybody, all the Facebook warriors are all,
The only land we have is earmarked for a wastewater treatment plant expansion.
sir, we have almost $700,000 that we're putting towards this. I'm not saying X the basketball courts. I'm saying X the pickleball courts, and let's put that immediately toward our kids that are currently practicing and playing and getting injured practicing.
I hear you, but like you said, the land is the issue.
We're only hamstrung if we allow ourselves to be.
no, I disagree, sir.
Y'all can change this. We can change the path that we're on and go a different path. I just became aware of this. I read through that master parks plan. I think that soccer is the lowest priority on that master parks plan. I've lived here for 5 years. I go to the library every day, almost. I walk down there on the sidewalks. We know the people down there. We try our best to practice at those parks. They've been somewhat responsive to us, putting in a couple of some new bases around the fields there. They put a couple of nets up on those metal frames that we call soccer goals. I zip tied them this last week. I went and bought my own zip ties and zip tied them up. We're invested here. We're just asking that our priorities as a city align with citizens' priorities.
But I think that's what the Parks Master Plan was designed to do, to hold public hearings, to get input from everyone in the city and put that into a master plan along with the Parks Board. I understand what you're saying. We're a sports family as well. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying. And I understand that you have 205 kids that are wanting to play soccer. I get it. But we have to look at what's best for the entire city. And that's why we had public hearings. That's why we developed the Parks Master Plan.
Okay.
That's the path we're on, is what was determined by citizens of Aubrey.
I never was consulted on that. Had I been consulted, and I was down there every day. Had I been consulted, I would have said, hey, look, we've been kicked out. We practiced in Krugerville at Fairview Park. Then we moved up here to the middle school. Coach Wilson helped us out. He said, hey, my boy's on the team. I'm gonna help you guys out. Y'all can practice on the middle school field. This season, they said, hey, I'm sorry, y'all, we started at the middle school field. He said, the grass is too bad. Y'all gonna have to find somewhere else. Sorry. Now we're practicing behind the admin building. Again, Aubrey ISD has been kind to us, but at the end of the season, we don't have anywhere to practice. We're told right now in the fall, we don't have anywhere. So what I'm asking is for y'all to consider redirecting money so we do have a spot to practice.
Okay, well, thank you. We heard your ask.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time. Questions for me?
And on this, on the rendering that you had, there's pickleball courts, there's basketball courts, and obviously it's not taking up the whole area.
It's
There's
not,
still gonna be, most of the area is still left open, correct?
right, so where the soccer field is now is between where we propose to put the basketball, pickleball and the baseball. So right now there's two baseball, one on the east, one on the west, soccer's in the middle. Soccer will still stay in the middle. We'll have the baseball field on the east, and then on the west end will be the basketball court and the pickleball.
Okay, so on that opposite end, still feasibly, because baseball doesn't use it too much, soccer could use that
Yeah,
all they want
and
still.
we did have the engineers go back and drop those in and to show that there is space that we're not impeding on the soccer space. Now, if all three are being played at the same time, then it might be a little tight. But if we don't have somebody playing basketball, pickleball, soccer and baseball at the same time, there's still plenty of room. But as you know, it is a drainage field and there is still gonna be problems. One improvement that we have made improvements as far as the nets and all over the last year. But one other thing that will help is the irrigation. So there was originally irrigation in there and I understand it hasn't operated in a long time. So we're putting up new
It's been
irrigation.
longer than that, trust me.
I've only lived here 5, so.
It didn't work once they put it in.
So we are having to update the irrigation when we do the courts. So we'll also find out what's wrong with the other section and we'll be able to do some watering. But that'll help in the summertime when it cracks.
Right.
But as far as flooding,
Yeah.
we'll just have to clean it up, you know, if we have a flood, because this is a detention pond.
Right.
We're just trying to make the best use. of
Right.
it.
Well, most of these built their parks in floodplain or detention facility.
Right.
Not nothing, we're not doing anything new.
Thank you.
And there are things coming in the future that we've been working on behind the scenes, so.
We
hang
are-
on.
We are looking for property.
We're always looking for property. and
Absolutely.
Preferably out of a floodplain. that we
Right.
don't have to be dealing
Well,
with that.
right.
Then the flip side of that is you've got to also look for places that have accessibility for parking.
Yeah.
Stuff like
So I
that.
do have park updates later in the evening, but if you want, I can mention some of those. As you guys are aware, we just had the plat for the Trevetti development. That is gonna be a park there. And then we're working with our engineering team and our architects. We'll look at tennis. We've heard a lot about tennis. We'll look at soccer. And we'll continue down our priority list in the master plan. The same with soccer. We don't have any place for kids to play baseball and softball. It's the school fields. So we are in the process of trying to acquire some land for a quadplex for baseball, softball. There is a lot going on. We're trying to meet the goal of the farmer's market. It's gonna happen, but it takes time to get it all constructed and geotechnical and all that good stuff that our engineer can explain to you. That sports is a priority for the Parks Department.
Yes.
Mayor, can I add one item? We do have openings on our Parks and Recreation Board if anybody's interested in applying for that.
Sign me up.
Be careful what you ask for. They'll put you to work.
Can I ask, when you're doing all of this, I need to introduce you. Ryan Brown, 7175 Rhodes Road. I was gonna ask you, I mean, if part of the problem is that
the existing field when in the summer, if you got cracks, could you bring in some topsoil and sand on the right-hand side there? It looks like there's lots of room. You could at least improve the quality of what they would be playing on. I know if my kid was out there and rolled her ankle, it'd be horrible for weeks on end, so.
Well, no, whether it happens today or not, we're searching for land. We're looking to help you with your soccer program. When did AYSA start soccer? Because they didn't have it when my kid was going through
We started,
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay.
Or
Okay.
This will be the 13th.
Because we had to go to Pilot Point to do that.
no, we had, yeah, we brought it on 3 years.
Huh?
We brought it on about 3 years.
Did you?
Birthday.
Well, try to
And we
be, try to be
talked about-
patient with us either way.
At some point amending the soil on the other part of that as they're putting in irrigation so that we can reduce the cracking.
Yes, yeah, we have to keep in mind that.
That is a detention
that
area.
Detention area.
Yeah.
But we'll get with Westwood and see if we can have that. We have started dragging the ball field and I think it's helped. But we'll see what we can do with the cracks as well.
Mayor, I move that we award a bid and enter a contract with ALCC LLC for park improvements at Leslie Park Field for an amount not to exceed $669,263.71 and authorize the city manager to execute necessary documents.
I'll second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Chuck. In favor? Passes 4-0.
Be patient with us.
Number 8, consideration and action on the resolution nominating a candidate for the Denco Area 911 District.
Mayor and council, this resolution is for the nomination of a candidate to the Denco Area 911 Board of Managers. In June, you will receive an opportunity to make a final vote for candidate or candidates. Mr. Jim Carter, whom the council has nominated in 2020, previously in 2020, has expressed a desire to serve another term.
Any other candidate they'd like to nominate?
I'll make a motion to nominate Mr. Jim Carter to the Denco Area 911 District Board of Managers.
I'll second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Chuck, all in favor? Passes 4-0. Consideration and action on ordinance amending ordinance number 801-23, adopting a fiscal year 2023-2024 budget to balance revenue surplus, expense surplus, and surplus.
Put up this.
Mayor, Council, this is the ordinance amending the budget. Can you make that bigger? You're working. So I just wanted to just give you an overview of what we're proposing. The first column is the current budget. The second column is the amended budget, and the third column is the change. So let me just give you some high level input of what we're doing. So this is consideration and action on ordinance amending the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget. This budget amendment improves the budget surplus in both the general and enterprise funds. Revenue is up in the general fund due to increased revenue from property sales and franchise taxes, EMS billings, and fire and police services and interest income. Also, the police department received a grant for protective shields of $65,000. And the fire department received a sizable donation, $250,000, both of which were not in the budget. Overall, the revenue budget amendment increases general fund revenue by $2.2 million. The water and sewer revenues and expenses remain mostly unchanged from the original budget. Revenue and expenses in the garbage department are both increased by $800,000, recognizing the increase in volume of activity in that area. The grant fund budget is updated to recognize the use of ARPA funds. And the capital projects fund is updated for fire station number 2 and the council chamber project. Overall, the budget amendment increases the surplus in these other funds by approximately $100,000. Lastly, the amendment recognizes increased revenue and the addition of property purchase in the MDD budget. Overall, the changes increase the MDD budget surplus by approximately $225,000. So this is mostly revenue changes. The expenses overall in the general fund are flat. So the budgets were pretty accurate. We didn't get surprises. We're not expecting any big ones. The revenue components are all virtually ahead of where we had thought they'd be. The development has continued even with the higher mortgage rates. The interest rates that we earn on our invested capital have remained high. We expect that that'll remain the same for a while. The growth in the area has exceeded our original expectations. Don't forget, we did these estimates back in July, August of last year. And that's when the mortgage rates were going up. So it all came together. It's kind of the perfect storm for revenue. So the timing is good, given the challenges that are ahead of us. So build a little bit of surplus. So we are recommending that you approve this budget amendment. Questions I can answer on?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance amending ordinance number 801-23 adopting the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget to balance revenue surplus, expense surplus, and shortfall, and providing an effective date.
Before you vote, Mayor. Before you vote, I just wanted to add that you heard me say before that our goal, the staff's goal, is to be good stewards of the tax dollar. And I want to congratulate staff for doing such a great job staying within their budget. I think this is the first year since I've been here that we've not seen a significant budget change, and everybody really stayed within the lines of what they drew last year and what the council approved. So thanks to the staff for doing such a great job doing that. Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion by Randy, second by Chuck, all in favor? Pass it 4-0. Item 10. Consideration action on ordinance number 837-24, amending chapter 12, traffic and vehicles, article 12.04, parking, and adding article 12.07, golf carts and off-highway vehicles.
Mayor and council, my apologies. Fire chief made me put Instagram on my phone and said I needed to be just.
Always goes back to fire.
Wanted me to be his top follower.
You get a top fan badge?
Yeah.
So, or a jacket. As we begin to grow, we have to face some challenges, and tonight I'm going to present you with a challenge. Due to the large volume of traffic that is particularly here in the downtown area and across our service area, we need to have some ability to get control of what's on the road. So tonight I'm presenting an ordinance that would regulate off-road vehicles and golf carts. Having these on the road in congested areas is simply just dangerous. And that we hope that this ordinance will give us an ability to kind of regulate what's going on. We're having some issues out in Greenridge subdivision with all kinds of vehicles being driven out there, so we kind of need to get control. So, amending chapter 12, traffic, article 1204, and parking. All we did was add, we're gonna ask to council to approve golf carts. So all we did was add golf carts into the parking regulation. So that adjustment to that chapter simply allows them to park where vehicles park or not park where vehicles. But the main addition to this ordinance is 1207, golf carts and off-highway vehicles. And tonight we're presenting that we allow golf carts on roadways that are 35 miles per hour and below, and all other vehicles be prohibited to use on the streets of the city. Golf carts offer the ability to move slowly, and they have regulations. They have to have a slow moving vehicle placard. They have to have lights. They have to have those kinds, but they can't go very fast. Which in some ways makes them safer to be on the road. The other vehicles can move very fast, or they're not equipped with the lighting that's necessary, the tail lights and rear view mirrors and those kind of things. So we do want to try to offer citizens the ability to have some kind of other vehicle to operate. This is in line with what most cities are doing, prohibiting everything other than a golf cart. And so we're gonna kind of try to stay in with what everyone else is doing. I'll be happy to answer any questions. It's pretty standard. This ordinance is pretty much what other cities are doing. There's not anything in here that we're doing different.
How do you apply to bicycles and bikes?
There's not a lot of us.
I move that we approve ordinance 837-24, amending chapter 12, traffic and vehicles, article 1204, parking, and add article 1207, golf carts and off-highway vehicles.
Second.
Jeff, second by Aaron, all in favor? 4-0. Consideration action on removing and or appointing members to the Aubrey Parks and Recreation Board. Have a resignation.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of Susan McCormick from the Aubrey Parks and Recreation Board.
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Jeff, all in favor? 4-0.
There's another spot right there.
Yep, there it is.
Department updates. Brittany, you got a.
These are our statements and Stay Sharp Kids, just kind of give you an example of what comes into it.
All right, that's pretty cool.
No.
And then before we get into the presentation, I just wanted to give a couple updates. So our annual library report to the state has been submitted. We're just waiting for accreditation results to come in. And then the Texas Library Association Conference was last week. And I wanted to mention that one of our own, Cassandra Gaither, she was actually accepted to be a speaker at the conference. She did a presentation on Mystery Nights, which is a program that we do for our Whodunit book club. Every quarter, we do kind of like a big murder mystery party. The book club gets together and they solve a crime. So she went ahead and she presented on that and they had a great turnout. Okay. So today we will be covering programming for homeschool, public school, and then citizens or the community. We'll be talking about additional resources that the library provides, and then also future additions that we will be adding. So first, we're going to start with homeschool. Right now, we have two programs that are dedicated to homeschoolers. That is Lego Club, which is the first Friday of the month at 12:30. So this Lego Club was actually a partnership / sponsored program. We would not have it without the Lott family. They came in, they told us, hey, our kiddos are interested in Legos. There's quite a big community who, you know, loves to build things and display things and everything. So we went ahead and worked with her and her family. They helped us set up donations for all of the Legos, and we now have this program in place because of her and her family. They also help volunteer, run the program, so it's not, too cumbersome on staff. Plus, we also get that extra community involvement. The second program is another library-sponsored program. It's called the Bishop Brigade. It is a chess club. They meet twice a month, the first Tuesday and third Wednesday at 2 p.m. It's for ages 6 and up, and it's actually a sponsored program for the Aubrey Community Homeschool Group. I would also like to mention, just like how Lego Club came to be, we are open to ideas and suggestions. We might not always be able to implement them immediately, but it's something that we definitely keep in mind for future planning. So for school outreach, so coming up the first week in May, a homeschool group reached out to us, asked if we wanted to participate in kind of their resource bags that they are giving their kids. We look at it as kind of like a summer reading bag. When we have participants, they get a bag with information and some type of merch, mood pencils that change or stickers, things like that. So we're actually doing it for the homeschool program coming up in the next month. Earlier this month, we actually participated in Fuller's Elementary Cultural Fair event. We signed up library cards, gave out a bunch of information regarding our resources. And then the picture on the right is actually our story time. We had an ongoing story time, about 5 of them back to back, but it had a great turnout, 79 people, just within an hour, hour and a half, so. Next, we have our public school programs. It says public school, but it's just time-based. So any programs that are considered public school are also for homeschool kiddos and everybody else in the community. So we do have our regular programs, Mrs. Carter's Story Time. There is 3 early childhood story times as well. We have toddler time for ages 2 to 4, baby and me from 0 to 2. The difference between them is just literacy based. So the older kids will focus more on words and reading, whereas baby and me, it's more playtime, social interactions, singing, that kind of thing. The Little Readers Book Club is actually a great resource. So it is essentially a preschool prep program. Cassandra runs this one, and she uses her background in speech language pathology for this resource. So they choose one book and they focus on it for an entire month. And each week they have a specific theme that they'll go through. So they'll learn about plot, characters, the theme of the book, that kind of stuff. And it's intertwined with the 5 key literacy skills, which is reading, writing, singing, talking, and playing. And that just kind of prepares them for preschool. Lego Club is also mentioned here because there is 2 Lego clubs. One is during the daytime where public school kids are at school. And then this one is open to all at 4 p.m. the 3rd Friday of the month. We also have our Providence Village Story Time for the 3rd Thursday of the month at 10:30 a.m. That's a growing program. STEAM Saturdays, the age range is dependent on curriculum. So depending on what we're teaching will depend on if it is more geared towards younger kids, older kids, or if it's all ages. The upcoming STEAM is actually geometry. That's going to be May 18th. So that'll be for ages 6 and up. And then just here we have a couple of other programs. They're not regular programs, but they happen on and off throughout the year. For citizens, we have our 3 book clubs. We couldn't choose between them, so we decided to have all of them. Our standard Aubrey Area Library Book Club, they read everything, nonfiction, fiction, classics. It is book club member recommendations that are used for their books. The Whodunit Book Club actually focuses on true crime, the classic Whodunit, horror and psychological thrillers. This is the one that every quarter comes with a murder mystery party for participants. And then our new romantics rolled out recently, and that one is just mostly rom-coms, lighthearted, good for everyone. Two of them who done it in romantics are ages 16 and up. The Auburn Area Library main one is 18 and up. I mentioned that because the new romantics is having a watch party. So the upcoming book is a Bridgerton book. And so on the 17th, there will be a Bridgerton watch party at the library at 6:30. And even though the age range is 16 and up, the watch party is going to be 18 and up. And then our silver programs, currently we have Senior Fit and the Senior Social Hour, which includes a bingo event and then a activity and treat. Some of our additional resources are listed here, things that we provide to patrons to either check out or to do at the library. So the Montessori toys, they're not able to be checked out, but that's part of that Children's Corner update, and they're definitely getting a lot of use. Transparent Language Online is a resource that we've really been pushing to get the word out. It's a digital resource. It offers courses for 124 languages, which includes American Sign Language and ESL. So that is one of our biggest programs that we've gotten recently. STEAM kits, which I'll just passed around. These are all that we currently have at the library. They're great resources. They're pricey to buy on your own. Right now, our kits are valued at a little over $3,000. But this is a resource that we can provide for homeschool and public school kids. Our Stay Sharp, there's only 4 currently. That's because we were testing circulation to see if that's something that the community would want. Future editions. So our future editions, the first one to roll out will be ABC Mouse. Patrons will be able to create a free account using our computers or by logging into our Wi-Fi, and it gives them free access to ABC Mouse while they're there. It has over 9,000 interactive books, different courses, educational games. That's going to be a great resource geared towards the ages of 2 to 8. The next thing that we'll roll out is Tony's. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Tony's. It's kind of a speaker box for kids, and they have little figurines with magnets. When you put the figurine on top, it sings, it reads books, but it's more geared towards younger kiddos. So those will be rolling out soon. Yoto is something similar to a Tony, except the speaker box has a card that you insert in, and that's geared towards older kiddos. So you'll be able to read kind of middle grade books with that, and it doesn't need to be a phone or another device. It's just completely, you can hand the kid the Yoto, they insert the card, and there's no distractions. The other thing that we're working on is finalizing a partnership to give patrons access to Microsoft Office, resume building, and more. And then again, we're gonna keep ordering Stay Sharp kits. Our STEAM kits, they're extremely popular. Circulation has gone up in the last year. And then the new thing that we will roll out is cognitive development kits, and that will be for ages 5 and under. Okay, that concludes my program overview. Do y'all have any questions?
I think it'd be good to know who can access the library because it's not just citizens of Aubrey, correct?
It's not. So we service Denton County. Anybody who lives in Denton County gets free access to our library. That's one of the things that our library has to offer. Anybody outside Denton County, it's a $50 card membership, but even though we are a smaller community library, we also do interlibrary loans, which is one of our additional resources. So if we don't have an item, we search for it. We have a couple of ways to do that. Other libraries will send their books to us. You'll pick up, drop off at our location, and we ship it back wherever it came from free of charge. So definitely have some great resources for everybody in Denton County.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
wanted to piggyback on the library for just a second and talk about the community center. Chief Brooks will be giving you an update on the construction that's going on there right now. But I just wanted to add to this, that one of the central reasons we embarked upon this renovation of the library was to give the library extra spaces that they could use multiple times a year. The library, the community center is taken up with early voting or election days. And when those occur, that has to be locked down and the library is locked out. They have no place. So with these renovations that we're doing, it's going to give the library more rooms and more ability to have these programs all year long, rather than just special times when it's not rented or the county's not using it. So I'm really excited. I visited this week. I'm not trying to steal your thunder. I visited this week for the first time to see the construction, and I'm even more excited now about what it's going to do for the library and their programs. Instead of one large space, now they have two medium-sized spaces where they can have multiple things going on at one time. So it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to it, and I know you are too. So thank you.
Any chance I can speak to that?
We don't normally allow speak, it's just department head updates.
Okay.
Chief Clark.
Try to do this with a straight face. I apologize for the inconvenience earlier. I signed Chief up for the Who Done It series, and that was probably an alert for his membership. Updates on fire stations 2 and 3. Station 3 is coming along great. We had our OAC meeting today. Ask Chief Downs, I got really excited in the car when we rounded the corner and I saw the concrete boom. So they poured 200 yards of concrete today for the slab beams. And so if you drive by now and you're on Frontier, you can start to visualize where the 3 engine bays are going to be. You can see rebar with the gaps. And so those represent the 3 bay doors where they'll be. So the next 3 weeks looking forward, we should see completion of the grade beams on the apparatus bay side. And then work to begin on utilities on the rest of the building. And at the end of that 3-week period, we should be getting close to the slab pouring for the apparatus bay, weather permitting. And as you've noticed, it's going to rain again this weekend. So every couple of days, we're just, we take a day or two here or there in weather. So, but the crew out there is working really hard. We're starting to have some fun. We're picking colors, and I apologize. Chief Brooks and I are in charge of picking the colors, and we should take people with us because we're not well versed in that. But Station 2, it's moving along also. We have that obviously later in the meeting to discuss. But the only thing that's changed outside of that is the gas line that needed to be moved has been moved and relocated. So that's just one step further along. And then we now have the plan fully laid out to move the water line. So that's going to be in connection with the provider that does the utility for the building. So we now know how that's all going to be taken care of. And that's one of our first hurdles that we had to get over. So exciting times. We'll talk later about the bid. That was very successful. And hopefully we get moving tonight on that one. Do you have any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
So I didn't see the stations come. Waiting for the vertical.
Oh, man. Me too. Thank you.
Did learn on the fire station today that they're doing it in 2 sections, which was odd. They're, to me, I thought it was odd, but they're, when you look at it, I was thinking that's kind of small, but it's only half the building. So don't worry about it. Second part of the foundation's complete. The community center is rocking and rolling. We are on schedule with the construction. They're gonna pour the concrete that they have to pour in there for the elevated dissection next week. And so far past all inspections, everything's going well. I'm not sure about the setback yet on the dais, but we had to tweak some things that didn't work. They had to go back and redesign it. I was supposed to get word this afternoon on what that meant as far as delivery time. That's not me. That's not my.
Chief. Yeah, signed him up too.
I feel so much better. Hopefully soon we'll get it and it's not gonna delay us any. They said it wouldn't, but I'm not convinced yet till I get solid word. It's being designed and built way away from here that I can't go get access on. They won't answer my calls. It's going really well. I'm really impressed with Bear's work. They're on top of everything. Constant contact with us on anything that's going on. So it's looking good. I'm impressed. Questions? Thank you.
Thanks for helping us with that. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of karma. Water, we have hopefully both the wells, moving forward. Faulkner is supposed to be installed Monday, or they're gonna start mobilizing on Monday, from Colorado. They'll be here on Tuesday. Hope to get it installed, hope to be flushing the week after. Rock Hill should have started installation today. So hopefully we'll have it online next week. We'll need to do some testing first, but so at this point, things are looking better. On the parks projects, I just want to give you a little update. The Matthews design, we're pretty much at 90%. All we're down to now is the actual play equipment that we're wanting to put in there. The Veterans Memorial, we had a call from the contractor on that one and they're pushing us back 2 weeks. So it'll be about 2 more weeks before they're able to put the bollards and the chain and the landscaping around the memorial. We have a concept for the bathrooms at Veterans. So we'll be looking through that and working that into budget. You'll hear from us around budget time on that project. The concept for High Meadow is complete and we've started design on that one. And I went over those other items with you earlier, so that's all I have unless there's something you want an update on for Public Works or Development.
Future agenda requests, council, board members, staff, or citizens. Or citizens may request items to be included on future agendas. Discussion is limited to what the request is for and if and when the item can be placed on the agenda. None? Executive session. In accordance with Texas Government Code, section 551.001, et sec, the city council will recess into executive session to discuss the following. Section 551.0711 and 2, consultation with attorney, and section 551.072, real property.
Mayor, I move that we go into executive session.
Thank you. Motion by Jeff, second by Randy, all in favor. 4-0, time is 7:17. On 6.
Yep.
Item 1, consideration and action on awarding a bid for the construction of fire station number 2 and authorizing the city manager to negotiate final contract and execute the same.
Mayor, I move that we award the bid to Crossland for the construction of fire station number 2 and authorize city manager to negotiate the final contract and execute the same.
I'll second. Go ahead, Aaron.
Motion by Jeff, second by Aaron, all in favor. Passes 4-0.
Motion adjourned.
Item 2, we're not taking any action on. So
Right. Motion adjourned.
adjourn.
You second?
Second.
All right. Yes, Aaron, it's always a pleasure.